Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's story? Like you came here to be or do something different to what you currently are doing or being? Well, let me tell you, there's a good reason for that. It's likely that you are living against what you came here to be, against your human design. Hi, I'm Michelle, a human design coach and guide. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry, you're not alone. When I tell people what I do, I rarely get an understanding face looking back at me. Normally, I get, "What?" a look of confusion, and then the question, "What is human design?" So that's what I'm here to answer today. My quick and honestly terrible answer is that it is kind of an astrological personality test. But that is definitely selling it very short. So the longer answer is that human design is a system based on the wisdom and incorporating the wisdom of astrology, the chakra system, the Judaic Kabbalah, the Chinese I Ching, and quantum physics. Just like in astrology, human design is based on the planetary placements and the energetic frequencies at the time of your birth. Those details are used to map your human design chart, which looks like this, and to understand your unique energy, which is who and how you came into this world to be. Importantly, it isn't a religion or a belief system. Now, you might be wondering who did all the synthesizing and incorporating of all that wisdom, and that would be Ra Uruhu. Over 8 days in 1987, Ra received the information for the human design system via transmission from a voice. And I know that sounds ridiculous to some. It did to me as well. But when I had my reading, it made so much sense that I kind of believed him. Also, haven't you guys ever had those similar downloads? I have, definitely not to that same scale, but definitely walking along and information just comes to me. So back to the chart and what it all means. Well, firstly, I will do a separate video on all the different elements of the chart so that we can break it down and understand all of them. But when you first run your chart, beside it or underneath it, depending on where you get your chart, there'll be a summary. And that summary will break down for you lots of different things, again, depending on where you get your chart from. But the first thing should be your energy type. Now, I would say that the energy type is like the highest level, the biggest, broadest overview of human design. Human design is very, very layered, but the energy type is the broadest, widest view of things. And there are 5 different energy types in human design. So you've got the manifester, the generator, the manifesting generator, the projector, and the reflector. Each of these types have different characteristics, strategies, emotional themes, and more. Just understanding that first layer can help you understand and connect to the real you, who you came here to be. Knowing your type often explains so many of your struggles and small changes that you can make that will make things so much easier for you. And if you feel like you've been living someone else's life, it's likely that you've been trained through societal conditioning and many other things to live against your human design and more in line with someone else's design. So after energy types, the depths of the details continue from there with layer upon layer of different archetypes. And those include your authority, your definition, your profile, the centers you have defined, the channels you have defined, the gates you have defined, all your planetary placements, and I'm sure there's so much more. It's a very layered system. So how can human design change your life? Well, the detail in each of the layers, in each of the archetypes of human design, build out the picture of your higher self, of who you came here to be. And then the insight gained from understanding each of those layers helps you to align to that person, to align to that higher self, to who you were designed to be. Human design can help you with better decision making, improving relationships, growing your business, changing or adjusting your career, and pretty much every other area of your life as well. As an example, I'll share my story. I came to human design in 2020 after the birth of my second child, and I had already left my career, my job, and decided to start my own business as a KonMari consultant, a home organizer. Now, that's a pretty physical job, and I would be worn out after one client session, but I had designed my business to have 2 client sessions a day. So I was burning out very quickly. The first thing that human design did for me during and after my first reading was to help me understand that many of my flaws weren't actually flaws. They were just the way I was designed to operate. Starting with, and this is probably the biggest one, I was not made to keep up with the generators and the manifesting generators in this world. And there are so many of them, but let's start with generator, my husband, and my mother. So I had this shame around my work ethic when actually I was never meant to work as hard or as long as they ever did. I wasn't designed as a projector to work more than about 4 or 5 hours a day. I simply don't have the capacity for that. So learning that helped me release a lot of guilt and shame that I had around my work capacity. And it helped me restructure that first business so that I wasn't doing physical labor for 6 hours a day. Then a few years later, when I had learned to connect with, listen to, and trust my intuition, which is my decision-making authority, I was able to understand when it was time to switch from that business into this one, into human design coaching, which I have to say did not make logical sense because I just closed that last business. I didn't sell it or anything. I just stopped doing it. I just closed it. But it didn't matter that it didn't make sense logically because I knew energetically that it was time to close the business. And standing here more than 18 months later, I can tell you that it most definitely was the correct decision to close that business and jump right in on this human design. There are so many other ways as well that human design has changed my life. I mean, I'm a better partner because I understand my husband better. I am a better parent. I parent a lot differently now that I understand human design and that my children are two different human design types, different from myself as well. So I know that we all operate quite differently. I understand my friends better as well. And honestly, I understand humanity better. I don't get frustrated at people as much anymore because I can see where they're coming from. I can see where in the chart that might be coming from, that energy, and why they're doing things differently to me. I don't get frustrated about like, why don't you just do it this way? I have a lot more acceptance than I used to. So how do you get started? Well, if that sounds amazing to you and you want to know your human design type and you want to understand the world a whole lot better, then you can jump over to my website. I'll leave a link below and you can run your chart and get your energy type. Then you can come back here and find your type specific video, watch it, and find out if there are any changes that you need to make that would make your life flow a little easier. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more human design videos that are going to transform your life.